Okay, so we know that creating blog posts every single week takes a lot of time. It can take 5, 6, 7+ hours to create a really great piece of content. And so the trick to making the most of that effort is to find different ways to repurpose your content. There's a concept in content marketing called turkey slicing, which is basically coming up with lots of creative ways to use your blog content. I actually made another video about 15 ways you can repurpose your blog content. So if you really want to know more about turkey slicing, head on over and check that out. I will link to it somewhere below, somewhere around this video. But today I just want to share with you 3 quick things that I do with my blog content. So sometimes I will pull out those 15 ideas and I'll do something more in depth, but these 3 I am doing right now. 2 of them I do every single time that I write a blog post, and one of them is just a project that I'm working on now that really is giving me a lot of bang for my time buck. And they're really simple, so I wanted to share them with you to give you some ideas for how you can make more of your blog content. So the first thing that I do with every blog post is I take the introduction and I repurpose that into my weekly email and an Instagram post to promote the blog post. So with the introduction, sometimes I'll tell a story, sometimes I'll share a statistic, sometimes I will talk about a problem, sometimes I will kind of tease all these benefits that you can have if you do this one thing. But it's basically a way to take someone from the headline or the subject line of the email that pulls them in and convinces them that it's worth their time to read the meat of the posts. So it's kind of a warming up section, the introduction. It just eases people on through to get to the body of the post. So that's perfect content that not only can help do that on the blog, but that is a perfect message to put into the weekly email to encourage people to click on over and read the rest of the post. So once I'm done with my blog post, I will copy the introduction section and I will paste it into my weekly email. I will change it sometimes a little bit. I might have to shorten it a bit. I might have to lengthen it a bit. And I also add in a few more teasy sections near the end. If you get my weekly emails, you'll be able to catch a pattern there to see what I do, but the bulk of the email just comes from the introduction to the blog post. I do a similar thing on Instagram. I will take the introduction and I will edit it just slightly to fit an Instagram post as well, to encourage people to click on over to my blog and read it. So that's the first thing that I recommend you do, is don't double up on the work for yourself. Just take your blog post introduction and use it to tempt people to head on over to your blog and read your post. The second thing that I do to turkey slice my blog posts is that I will pull out at least one tip from the post and I turn that into a post for social media. So right now I'm focusing mostly on Instagram, so that's the social network that I'm using, but you can do this with Twitter, you could do it with Facebook, you could really do it with whatever network happens to be where your audience hangs out. So I will just kind of read through my post and I will pull out a really valuable tip that I share as a standalone piece of content. Sharing tips is a big part of my brand, and so instead of just completely, trying to come up with limitless tips, I take the really good ones that I have and I share them multiple times, because a lot of times we need to hear the same message over and over. I shared a blog post and a video about turkey slicing and you might not have done it, so I'm doing it in a slightly different way now. That doesn't mean that I'm sharing the same thing, but it's just repetition helps us to actually do something. So I will just often copy, a short paragraph, possibly edit it a tiny bit, but really just take the juicy tip and write copy to share on social media. I do save it for a couple of months. I won't share it right away. So I use Trello to keep track of my Instagram posts, and I just put a little parentheses or bracket with what day the blog post went live. So I make sure to share the tip usually about 2 or 3 months down the road, so it doesn't feel like, wait a minute, I just heard this tip in her blog. People have forgotten about it by then, so it's a gentle reminder to implement that tip. So if you are using social media, definitely pull out some juicy tips from your blog posts and create some standalone pieces of content to share on social. And then the third way that I am turkey slicing right now is by turning some of my blog posts into topic-specific email funnels. So I actually am going through my Blogsery, which is the tool I use to organize all my posts. So this is super simple. And I'm pulling out the posts that are in a similar category. So in this video, I'm talking about blogging, so I'll use that as an example. But I am going through my Blogsery and I'm pulling out all the blog posts that I have about blogging. So anything to do with coming up with ideas, anything to do with how to structure your blog, how to write a compelling introduction, how to organize your blog posts, all of that. I'm kind of pulling them together, and I am pulling out about 5 to 7 different blog posts that go together really well, that build on each other. And I'm going to be using them as little email mini courses for just a quick free opt-in that people can sign up for to learn about really targeted different types of copywriting. So this is a really easy thing to do since the content is already written. I will probably have to edit them a bit because I want them to fit in an email, and my blog posts are normally longer than I would recommend for sending out an email, but it's a great place to start. And as I always say, it is much easier to trim your copy than it is to bulk it out. So to trim and tighten up and make these really punchy and really informative emails will be a piece of cake. And it's a really valuable targeted opt-in for people who want to improve their blogging skills. It would be a great lead magnet to get them onto my email list. And the reason I'm pursuing it is because it's a lot of bang for my time buck. I will hopefully get a lot of value out of it, and it won't take me all that long to do. I'm just going to be taking content that I've already created and coming up with another use for it. So those are 3 ways that you can essentially make more time for yourself by turning the introduction of your blog post into your weekly email or into a social media post to lead people to read the blog. Number 2, by pulling out a really juicy tip and making a standalone social media post just to share a value where people don't even have to leave the platform. They can just absorb that value straight on social media. And number 3, if you've been blogging for a while, is to pull out some blog posts that all have a similar topic and create a free email series for it, and then start publicizing that to get more people on your list. So like I said, if you like these ideas, head on over to the other video because I have got lots more for what you can do with your content to get more mileage out of it and take all those weekly hours you spend creating that epic content and deliver it in different ways so that you can really make the most of it. So I hope you like this, hope you're having an awesome week, and I will see you in the next video. Would love to hear if you have any more suggestions for how you repurpose your content. Would love to hear them. This is a favorite topic of mine, and I think as a community, we are all looking for ways to stretch our time further and make our efforts count for more. So just drop me a comment, let me know how you use it. All right, thanks so much. See you later.